Okay, thank you very much. Today I will tell you about our work with Valentina Viktorovna Kuskova, and the title is "You Have to See the Slides." Yeah, and the title is about data development analysis. So this is a big project that is beyond one publication. But today I will concentrate only on this one recent publication that we get just a couple months ago. Just the traditional slides for those who not ANR-Lab members about our lab, that Anushka Ferligoi and Vlada Batagir are our scientific supervisors, and they are with us today. Thank you very much for your time. And just a short description about our research groups, and we are very happy with Daria that we have this on our website finally. And today we just research that is a joint effort of two groups, Valentina's and my group, on network science and analytics and policy network group. This is our project. We have a lot of different projects. This is our team. So what is this publication that I will talk today about? It came as a result of the conference that was in 2019, so-called ISAT Association. It's association of statisticians and managers, actually. It's in management science, some international team, interdisciplinary team. It's not very much international because they are mostly from South Korea people. They are South Koreans, but part of them are from US universities, United States universities, American universities. And this is also good, I decided to share because it's a good example of being included in community. We don't know about them. We know nothing about them. Yeah, we just Google these guys and decided to come. This is a small community of people that trying to do interdisciplinary research. It's between engineering, management, and some policy stuff. Not big conference. We went there and contribute. And after this, the leader of this conference, who is Hwang Pam. So actually, he's from South Korea, but he's working now in University of Rutgers. Invited us to publish in his book, a chapter in his book that's called Reliability in Statistical Computing. And this, I think, is a good practice of being included in just international community. And as a result, we have these three publications, two in proceedings and one in this book. It's quite, it's not Q1, but it's Q2, so it's quite good, I think, result for such a being involved in this community. So our article, our chapter in this book is about data development analysis and application to the marketing policy. So first, several words about data development analysis, and this is a methodological work. And as our lab mission is the popularization of different statistical methods for a larger community, we are doing this with DARE and data development analysis, and I'm still trying to popularize this method to political scientists but we are more conservative than these people. But I'm still trying. Yeah. So what is data envelopment analysis? Is a non-parametric statistical tool that where we have decision-making units. It can be countries, it can be companies, it can be organizations. So originally this method came from decision science and management. This is why they're talking about organizations. But we can analyze any units that we like country. I do with countries in my political science and policy science. It can be different governments, it can be political parties if you want. So it's any units that you want to analyze. And first of all, their goal is to analyze the efficiency, efficiency and effectiveness of the organizations, countries, or any other units. You have input variables. It's analog to the independent variables. In regression, for example, they called it input variables. Just this is the difference in wording. Access. In management, they call it resources also. And we have output variables, our y's, our dependent variables. The one of the beautiful thing that you are not limited with y, you just can add as many y's as you want. Yeah. So output variables are the same, and in management they call it outcomes. We have a general formula. So we have inputs here, outputs here, some weights, x and y's with our weights, and we try to maximize this z. So we either have two possibilities in there. Either we maximize the outcome or we minimize the input. So it's very easy, I think, to calculate. As there as non-parametric tool, they have few assumptions, but this is the most important. It's assumption about the frontier. The frontier is your hypothetical, say, line, and there, as I said, it analyzes the decision-making units, for example, organizations, in a way that it divides them into two groups, efficient and inefficient. And efficient decision-making units, organizations, for example, they always situated on this frontier, on this line. Inefficient units situated under the frontier. And the type of frontier is something that you have to choose as a researcher a priori before calculations. There are several types of frontier to choose. There is a constant return to scale frontier that is just a line. The idea is that you have your axes, you have your y's, for example, and the idea is that there, for example, increase in your axes that are resources, for example, yeah, in one unit. So you increase the resource in one unit will lead to the proportional increase of the outcome in one unit too. So if it is line, one unit here, one unit here, 2 units here, 2 units here. So it's a line. But we all know that line is not very good approximation of real life. Yeah. So that is why there are different other frontiers. For example, variable return to scale frontier or non-increasing return to scale frontier. The idea is very simple that in there is some situations when or there are some point in time when the increasing of your resources in one unit can lead to the increase or the outcome or the result less than on one unit. Yeah? So sometimes it can even lead to the situation when you increase resources and nothing happened with the resulting variable. It's very similar usual situation in social processes. Yeah, and there is when you reach some limits in policy, some policy, for example, other stuff. Yeah. And there are hypothetically also there are situations when the increase of the resources can lead even to the decrease of the output. So variable return to scales is exactly the thing that you reach. There are different distances here on the line. Proportional, then there is increase of the resources lead to the less increase in results, and then, for example, increase in resources lead to the zero increase of the result, and so on. This is what I said already here, that the efficient, so divide your units into two groups, efficient and inefficient, and efficient are on the frontier, inefficient under the frontier, and depend on the different type of the frontier, you will get the same logic. We have also one of the output is cross-efficiency matrix. We will talk about it with the example. We'll turn to the example. Yeah. So I do not put here the math purposely. All the math is in the article. So and it's available, I think, on the website. If somebody is interested, you can just send it. And this article is not about math, it's about application. So this is their research design. What first of all you have to do, so of course variable, select variables. Variables can be measured in any scale except nominal. You need to choose return to scale, what I was talking about. And then this is it. So then you get a result. You will get 7 different results in any software. So it's efficiency, weights, likes, improvements, peers, cross-efficiency, and dynamic. There, they give you opportunity to analyze the efficiency of the time. So let's take an example, and we go to the exactly to the article, to this chapter. We try to explain this there. Application get their results of our research for one of the company in automobile industry. Their lab people knows this project a lot. We are talking about it a lot without, of course, details. And here we also use the anonymous version of names of the cars. So let's say that we have 17 cars. This is cars or brands or models. And the idea is that we have our X variables that are spendings for the advertisement of different car brands. And we have dependent variable or output variable. Here in this example, it was only one variable that are sales. So the idea is we are talking about marketing policy of different car plants. Marketing policy and efficiency, because each of these brands were interesting at minimum cost. So minimum cost for the advertising, in our case, to maximize the sales. And the first output that they give us as efficiency score. So here it's very simple example. So we have two years also here. And those cars of brands that get 100, here it is in percents. Also, it can be from 0 to 1. That is the same. So those here that have 100%, they are on the frontier. So they are situated on the frontier, means that they are efficient. Those who get less than 100, less than 1, they are on the frontier, they are inefficient. So their spendings for the marketing are inefficient. Okay? Also very important to say for the there that there is a okay, non-parametric. It means that it works with your sample that you give to it, to this method, to this software. Um, so if you increase the sample, then the results can be different. So it's very, very vulnerable to the sample, and that means that better to put not a sample but a population, for example, here. Um, so to be sure that you all have some theoretical understanding when you analyze this particular sample. The next outputs of the there is the weights. So the weights in here is very clear in the X variables. So we have spendings on digital, in digital advertising, outdoor advertising, advertising in press, in radio, in satellite TV, national TV, and regional TV. So, and we have these spendings. This is already weights. Weights means that if this number is more than 0, it means that this particular resources is used uh, to for their result that we observe. Yeah? In our case, it's sales. For example, car one use only spendings for the regional TV. Car two use satellite TV and regional TV and so on. We can analyze it in the total result. For example, we can say that 16 brands use regional TV. And this spendings for regional TV is really have a contribution into the sales as well. So this is really very good source of increasing sales, or advertising source to increasing sales. Outdoor advertising also good. Yeah. Satellite TV not bad, and so you can analyze it in this way. Slacks is also calculated the same logic. More than 0, then it's slack. 0, then it's not. Slack is the contrary interpretation. Then we have the weights, meaning that this is a waste. Waste of money, waste of whatever you measure in your X variables. It means that, and usually it is mirror to the weights, but not, for example, for the car one, if you will go to weights here, you can see that regional TV is used to increase sales for car one, but it's too much. You can easily decrease it, yeah? So, and so on. Outdoor, for example, for sure is a slack. That means that you spend too much for outdoor, yeah? Or just cannot, do not influence on the sales and so on. So, and the most waste here is, for example, national TV. So advertising for national TV is the waste of money, you can say. So, yeah. In our example. Next, what it's give us is improvements of targets. It's measured in the values of your dependent variable. Oh no, here is a percent. Here is a percent. It's dependent on the software. Here is a percent, meaning that what is the percent with minus? What is the percent of the spendings to the digital, whatever, advertising to be increased? And this is the percent of sales that will be increased if you decrease this. So for car3, it's very interesting that you have to decrease in close to 19% here, 72% here, 90% here, so on. To decrease digital on 19%, press on 70% spendings, and so on. And you will increase your sales close to 20% if you will do all this decrease in spendings. That is why, for example, that this car one spend a lot on advertising inefficient. That is why car one have to be inefficient here. It's 2008. That is why it is inefficient here. Because they spend too much money. For the advertising. That can be easily reduced without, and if it is reduced, not even without consequences, it will be consequences. It will be increase in sales. Next is pures, and this is how we came to the network analysis and why we like this method a lot. Because it's we use this method also as to prepare our data for to build a network. And what does it mean? The pairs. You see that we have here the matrix. Actually, it's square matrix. So somehow lose his two columns. It's actually square matrix, and as we have a matrix, we can easily build a network. So, and 17 by 17 cars. And what is the idea? Idea is that they provide us the information. First of all, it's, as I said, to separate our units, cars in our case, into two groups: efficient and inefficient. And the link here is from inefficient car to efficient car. And it gives us information what is the peer unit for the inefficient car. Means that it finds the peers for each inefficient car, for each inefficient unit, such peers that have their similar profile of the resources, but have better outcomes. So in our case, it's have larger sales, and similar profile of resources, but a little bit better than for inefficient unit. So efficient cars, efficient units will have ones in diagonal, as a diagonal elements. Inefficient, we know it free is inefficient, so we read it as a way that car free. For car free, the pure is first car, first brand, and the 15 brand. And so the link, actually, arc will be from third car to the first and to the 15. So, and we can build such a network. We can, this for car free, the pure brand will be car 1 and car have to be 15. So this is like this. It's have a very strong and powerful tool in the interpretation for the situations where you have competition, for example. Competition between units. So in our case, it's brands or automobile companies that compete for the customers. It can be political parties, so it can be other countries that compete in the international arena. So whatever, and they show you your competitors with whom you first of all compete for the resources. So, and we can say, for example, car frees compete with car 1 and car 15. Car 1 and car 15 has more efficient spendings for the marketing and more better sales than car free. But car free, if it little will change its spendings, will be easily reach the level of car 1 and car 15. It's like this. So this is pures. internet. There's that. And here it's quite a good network. Yeah. And what is the next is cross-efficiency matrix. This matrix is even has provide us much more maybe the information and much more thoughts for the further research, developing this methodology and trying to develop the application of this methodology. So, yeah, into the social analysis of social objects and social phenomena. The same story, we have a squared matrix. Again, if we have matrix, we can easily turn it into a network. Here, the idea is a little bit more complicated. Again, we have cars, we have units, we have connection. And the idea is what will be the efficiency score for the cars, for the units, if it will take the resources of other cars, other units. In our case, it's cars. So let's say take car 1, car 3. So the efficiency, and of course for efficient brands, for efficient units, the diagonal will be 100. So let's take car 1. Car 1, it will get 99.9% efficiency score if it will take resources of car 1, and so on, if you interpret it in this way. So 20% efficiency car 3 will get if it will take resources of car 2, and so on. Of course, it's more interesting for inefficient brands. And here we can see in more details why for car 3, car 1, and car 15 is a pure country, pure brand, because efficiency will increase compared with the current efficiency. For efficiency, again, the diagonal is the true efficiency, the current efficiency. Yeah, it's 83. If it takes resources of car 1, it will be close to 100, very close to 100. And 95 if it will take resources of 15. 15th brand. So this is how we interpret it. We can, of course, build a network out of this, but now we are working on working with this matrix and turning it, for example, into the similarity matrix, because frankly speaking, it's not similarity. Now and then, if you will turn it into similarity matrix, then we can use the cluster analysis and clustering networks. Also, the data give you opportunity to analyze the stuff in dynamic. We have 2 periods here, but you are not limited to periods. You can put whatever periods that you want. And it's divided also the affects. The idea is that it's divide the affect into 2 main things, because the increase or decrease in efficiency can be due to the change of the frontier. Means that the everybody become more efficient. That is why we become more efficient, or it can be because of our particular efforts. So frontier doesn't change, but we increase our efficiency. So it's give you opportunity to divide these 2 effects. And close to the conclusion, what also do we have in this chapter? We demonstrate the opportunities of data envelopment analysis for the in marketing policy especially, and conclude about advantages of the data. It's first of all non-parametric method, so we are not limiting with the IID, independent identical distribution assumptions here. So we can take whatever data we can measure it in different scales, integral ratio, not only integral ratio, but also ordinal, nominal, not nominal. And we can take any numbers of inputs and outputs, especially outputs, so we are not limited with one dependent variable, so we can put here as much dependent variable as we want, as well as independent. Here, and this make this method great. And more applications that we are working here. All these more applications, as I said, cross efficiency has a lot of potential to deal with, to continue, because it's a lot of numbers, and if we have a lot of numbers, we can do a lot with these numbers to transform them into different kind of stuff. Clustering, first of all, to transform it into the similarity matrix and to try clustering, different clustering techniques and methods, block modeling, of course. And also this pure metrics give us opportunity also to build a two-mode network, transform it somehow. Also, and to use two-mode network methodology to analyze this stuff too. It's applications from the methodological point of view. And here I also have slides, maybe you can share it. For those who are interested in this method, because this seminar is for popularization, as I said, our mission is to popularize different methods, statistical methods. And those who are just beginners of this method and young enough to use YouTube also, I just had a collection of different videos with lectures. I called it for dummies. I personally use this. Always use this kind of stuff to understand method from scratch and without being in depth with different formulas and math. Sort of from the guy without no math background. And this is it, I think.
Thank you, Dmitry.
Okay, I will try.
Also, Valentina is here.
Yes, I'm sorry. I joined late. I was in a meeting that I couldn't miss because it was with external company. So I joined you about maybe 15, 20 minutes after the start. So, yeah.
We are ready to answer questions then, because questions about math is, I think, more for Valentina.
Maybe I can comment on some things.
Of course.
Yeah. So my comments are on visualization or display of the results. So, for instance, if you go to that network that you produced.
I think you have question to this because I understand even what you say.
No, this and the other one, both.
The one.
So maybe we can stay with this one. Okay, stay with this. Okay, let's comment on this. So this, how to say, picture doesn't tell you anything. And when you have a relatively small network, which is quite dense, a much better visualization is by using a matrix representation. So in this case, I would suggest you to use a matrix representation where the values are expressed by a density. So similar like this, but for instance, you can also use this, but you can color the cells by intensity, so that cells with high value will be dark and cells with low value will be bright. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
And the other thing to do is here you still have the option to reorder the rows and columns, so you can choose also the order. And usually applying some clustering or block modeling method on the matrix, you can identify groups inside the network. And this, when you reorder the units, you can also see these groups in the visualization. Yeah. So in this way, you can also convey the idea that, yeah, in this network, there are some, let us say, cars that are quite similar with respect to selected measure, and these are this and this and the other one. Yeah. So here I would use, instead of traditional graphic representation, I would use a matrix representation with coloring of cells and some reasonable ordering of the units.
Thank you, Vlado. That's a good idea.
So this is, and for a previous one. So here, this is a relatively simple network, but still, for instance, you can quite improve this picture. For instance, if you move this car 3 in between car 1 and car 15, yeah, you cannot do this because you are not in the program. But so you can move, and the picture becomes much clearer because several unnecessary intersections are eliminated. Similarly, for instance, you have this car 11 and car 13, and probably this part here, if you move car 11 and car 13 inside the quadrangle, let us say car 5, car 16, car 2, and car 10, you again can quite improve the readability of the picture. And also, I think using these dispositions, you put together units which are closer to each one. So I think it's worthwhile to do some manual editing to improve the quality of the picture, to increase the readability. That is the second comment.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vlado. Those are actually good ideas because these pictures do look cumbersome and we haven't really honestly spent much time on trying to make them pretty. But for publication purposes and for talking with the audience, it's important that the information is as visual as possible.
Yeah, and for this network, probably, as far as I see, it would be wonderful to calculate in degree and out degree centralities, because for instance, car 1, you have a lot of arrows inside, right? And then you have, for instance, car 10, there are many arrows going outside. So, and that would be nicely seen by in and out degree centralities.
Yeah, we can probably do a lot of things with analysis. We really should.
Essentially, it seems that what Nusha observed, it's quite a general rule that you have cars that are, let us say, have in degree 0 or out degree 0. So most are receivers or kind of producers. So in this case, maybe you can even look to the, I would need to test everything, but as I see, this is quite a general rule that in some sense, your network is in some sense two modes. You have nodes with degree in degree 0 and nodes with out degree 0.
Oh, that is an interesting observation. That is true. We just didn't think of it that way.
I noticed this when after Nusha said that there are some.
Actually, it's two-mode network. Yeah, this is one of the directions to continue this. What can also can give us.
Yeah, and I completely agree with your discussion that I think that both networks would be wonderful. It would be wonderful to do the block modeling. You know, it's because then you would clearly see which cars, in your example, probably you would get a kind of center periphery structure or something like that. It would be, I think block modeling, you should do block modeling here. Here, in this case that is shown now, it would be binary block modeling, and in the other one, it would be valued block modeling approach, which Alej Žiberna developed, and he has also an R package. But maybe, Dasha, you know about that. Maybe you can help Dmitry and Valia to do that. So yeah. How old is this DEA procedure? Who is the author of this procedure, Valia?
I want to say it is 1980s. I forgot the exact name of the authors. Dim, you should have this. It's the somewhere in the references. Do you have references? I mean, it's right on the tip of my tongue. It's C something. Anyway, it's actually a very interesting story because no, up. Charles and Cooper. So it's their method that they have that they didn't really propagate much outside of production management. So it has very narrow application, and it's slowly getting out of there, but almost like structural equations modeling. People either know it and do it, and the population of those who actually use structural equations modeling is not very large, even among social scientists. So same with there are not that many people who are actually familiar with this particular approach. And I think if more people knew about it, even though people have tried to use it in education and political science and different places. I mean, we see papers here and there, but they're scattered. They're not very, it's a not well-known method. So when they use it well, they show great results, but either people don't know what to do with it or how to do it, or I'm not sure what the reason is. It just hasn't taken off. It hasn't been popularized enough.
Mm-hmm. It's from operational research, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, essentially my view is that essentially what is basic is you have multi-criteria problem because you have several outputs, and there is a theorem that you can always combine these output variables using a linear combination, essentially convex linear combination. And so they applied very, very simple solution then. They said that because if you put the denominator from that criterion function to the left side, you get a linear connection between input variables and so linear combination of input variables and linear combination of output variables. So, but I think there are other options here.
There are other options, and in fact, there are many different ways
this is how to say, the simplest way to do it.
Yeah, this one was the simplest. There's actually many different variants of this. There are increasing return to scale, decreasing return to scale, non-increasing return to scale. There is an approach that's called free disposal hull, when there is no efficient frontier that's combined out of the best possible linear models, but there is actually an up and down pattern that kind of grabs the best performing units. So people, I mean, it's a very unique niche within operations management that's actually quite developed inside the niche. So people who use it and people who develop the mathematics for it, they have done some advanced work. It's just it hasn't really propagated much outside of that community. But the options are many. There are actually tons of different combinations. And the approach mathematically is not very difficult. In fact, at one point in time, I just, there is no package for it in SAS. And when I was teaching some course, I just took the basic data envelopment analysis and wrote a simple program in SAS, an add-on that was calculating the data envelopment analysis. So, and it took me, I don't know, maybe a day or so. So it's not really that computationally intense, and it's not that mathematically difficult. It's, and of course, many extensions that allow to do a lot of additional analysis, but somehow it's just not being used. Maybe we should write more papers and show it in a variety of different disciplines and show the benefits. That would be a good way to do that. But I've seen it in education. I've seen it in marketing, I think, and some other areas. So it is being used, just not much. But it is, Vlad was correct, that it's not very complicated in terms of mathematics and in terms of setting it up.
Yeah, but the interpretation is really powerful, so I like it. So it's a very nice approach. Yeah.
Well, I kind of wanted to our laboratory actually to do more work with it, especially because it allows you to produce networks. Mm-hmm. This a nice extension of this peer relationship between those hidden relationships between the data points, the relational diagrams and everything else. It gives a nice touch to using network analysis. Again, we just haven't done much with it. So maybe by expanding towards the network area, we can do more for the method and with the method. Because once we start analyzing networks, like Dmitry said, yes, we can do clustering, we can do block modeling, but we haven't done it yet. So maybe we'll start finding additional insights, and that will help us develop the methods further. At least I hope.
Sure. It will, you will have, as far as I see, you will have very nice results. So just do it. So block modeling would be wonderful.
Yeah, we should do that. That's the one thing we haven't, I don't think we have tried block modeling. We haven't even approached it. We thought that we should do it, but we haven't gotten to this point. So it's one of the things we could do.
I think that block modeling would be even better than a kind of simple clustering, because with clustering you have to think about what would be similarity measure and so on and so on. But this, I think, it's really a block modeling approach, so that you cut your matrix in pieces and then produce these blocks, which can be zero blocks or interesting type of blocks, and you can have a very nice interpretation. So keep going in block modeling, I think.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions?
Probably any questions from our guests?
Well, I guess if there are no more questions, I want to thank everyone for being here. Dash, I'll let you finish the seminar since I wasn't the one to start it. I kind of came in late.
No, you can finish it.
Thank you for carrying the load.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking with Dasha about the possibility that I would present our recent study next week.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, it's about elderly during the COVID.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. So it will be a nice application of egocentric networks. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Will your cartoon be ready till that time?
Hope so.
Then it would be great to show it.
Really like to end the lecture with the cartoon.
Uh-huh. Okay,
Hopefully,
great.
well, it is quite possible that it will be already done. Yes. But I sent you, Dasha, the link. It is on Archive. Now they have social archive, so SOTS archive. So the paper is there, and the paper was sent to +1. So but we still wait for the review. But published at Archive.
Okay, great. So we will be able to share it before the presentation, so that people can look at the paper.
Actually, I have organizational questions, maybe to Dasha. Yeah. So what about our PhD students? Are they have their time slots in November or December?